Hey guys, and welcome back to Brian's Farming Videos. This one's a little bit different. Instead of a vlog, we are just driving around looking at flood damage. We got a lot of rain the last couple days, so we are skipping ahead. This video is being filmed the day it's going out. This is, what is this, May 19th or May 20th? I think it's May 20th. So it does skip ahead a little bit. All these fields that are flooded, you're going to get planted in the next couple videos. So, but we got Big Mama riding around with us and all the kiddos back there, so yeah, we're just driving around, flying the drone, looking at the fields. Hey guys, do me a favor, thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It really mean a lot to me. Alright folks, so here we are. If you're new to the channel, we farm 3,500 acres in southern Ohio. Around 900 of it is right along the river. By right along the river, I mean highly susceptible to flooding, and that's the acres that we're going to look at today. As you can see here, most of what you see underwater is our fields, and they are planted, unfortunately. This field right in front of us here, for example, there's a 28-acre field, and it is completely underwater. Just straight ahead, you see a field with water kind of in it. There's a ditch that separates that 28-acre field and the big field. Here's what it looked like the last time I seen it. That was when I was planting it. That was only a week ago. But it is what it is. This is the property line here. This is a 30-acre field. I believe it was in the very last vlog that I did. We were planting that field. That was the first time we'd used the Case IH planter. This field, the river will actually flood this wheat field you can see here sometimes, but it didn't quite get that big. But I have seen it get that high before. There's actually a tier. The terrain drops down a tier there, so that's why this field has water in it and that wheat field does not. These woods in front of us, they are all holding water. That's probably where some of this water came from. There's a levee right here you can see right there at the wood line, but it is breached. The water is over top of that levee. And then over here, close to the river right about there, there's a spot the river will come in some. We actually had plans this summer to increase the height of that levee with dirt that we had dug out from our drainage ditch. Unfortunately, that didn't happen before this flood. This is the first time we've ever had a flood at this time of the year. Normally, when the river floods, it floods usually December to February, somewhere in that time frame. Last year, we had a mild, very mild flood right around mid-June, so the corn was already out of the ground. This is probably this is one of the worst times it could have happened, in my opinion. All these fields were planted in the last week. They all have fertilizer on them. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So we're just going to have to play it by ear and see how this goes. But here you can see this bean field. This field was not vertical tilled. We interseeded in between the corn stalks, so hopefully that'll help keep some of the stalks from floating around. But there's definitely going to be some stalk damage. So yeah, you can see this water is. There's a decent chance this water will recede and these beans might recover. Unfortunately, some of this definitely will not. It will have to be replanted. So just kind of cruising along here. This field, I believe, was planted last Sunday night. I'm pretty positive. So that was only 4 days ago. That's a 120-acre bean field. And I would say at least 80 acres of it have water on it right now. You can see a low spot right here. This is all the same field, but there's just a low spot, and it's kind of acting like a ditch almost. This cornfield here, this is a 165-acre cornfield. A good 120 acres of it probably have water on it. This was the field that Dad and I both planted with the Fendt and the John Deere that we were going to try to get a comparison out of. You're looking at that acreage right now. So I'd say that comparison is pretty much gone, considering that it has water on top of it. And we'll probably have to have some of it replanted. I'm really hoping this water will recede quickly. From what I understand, if we can get rid of that water in the next 2 days, 3 days maybe, we might be okay, but I don't know. Over here, this is actually the property line. You can see where it's coming in on the neighbor right here. Just a low spot. I mean, it is what it is. We actually have several low spots on down the river where it's coming in also. So this is more of his field. It's just all that water's flowing. Unfortunately, it flows down onto our other farm, which is the water we were just seeing. You can see this next driveway here. That's our field on the other side of the driveway. So this coming field, we don't have near as much damage just right here, what you're looking at. This is a 190-acre field. I would say maybe 20 acres of it will have to be replanted at the moment. That's if the water does not continue to rise. Over here you can see a stream that's overflowing into this field where it dumps into the river. And then we've also got some river water coming in, but most of that's stream water. So yeah, you can see it really, really gushing in. Unfortunately, that is coming in, not going out yet. Yep. Yeah, like I say, hopefully we can get rid of this water, but we've actually haven't had any rain for the last 5 hours, so maybe, maybe. It's rained quite a bit over the last few days, but this other field on the other side of this tree line, this is our field also. We'll get to it in a later clip. My drone battery is just running dead in this one, so I'm hauling it back to the vehicle. But this is our field. This is that 190-acre field I was telling you about that only has about 20 acres of it underwater. This is the neighbor's field. Fortunately for him, his wheat field missed all the water. He must have had it in a strategic spot. Like I say, it's not uncommon for the bottoms to flood in the wintertime. So, yep, looks like he got pretty lucky there. As we can see, this is just on the other side of the property line. On the other side of his wheat field, that is our field. That's that 160-acre field. And yeah, there's just a lot of water down there. Hey guys, if you're still watching, go ahead and hit that like button for me if you like what you're seeing so far. So here we can see up by the grain bins, that is quite a bit higher than the ground that's flooded. That's just surface water from the amount of rain we got. That is all tiled. That should drain off pretty fast, I would normally. But where it's draining to is flooded, so I don't know. That could be a wild card there, but that water will leave eventually. There's 6-inch tile wrapping around that hillside where you see that water. But that's pretty much it for this farm. So now we're going to take one last look and then then land the drone and move on to the next farm down the river. All of these fields were planted in the last week, so it's very depressing to see, but there's nothing we can do about it. We're just going to have to wait and see what we can do eventually. And here we've got the little man. For some reason, he's wearing goggles. I think he thought we were going to go swimming. But this is the next farm. This field, last time I seen it, I was planting it with a Fendt Momentum in the middle of the night. This is where we planted all night in that last Fendt video. And almost all of it is underwater. There's 150 acres of corn on this farm, and I would guess that probably 90 of it's underwater, unfortunately. Over here you can see the different shades of this cornfield. That's where we had the strip-tilled and non-strip-tilled plot, and you can see we got some water damage on it as well. The bean field here, I was actually rained out of just 2 days ago. I was planting that field 2 days ago, and about the place where I stopped is where the water stops. This is just a little 4-acre field that's right up against the river, and there's no levee protecting it. And as you can see, it's just completely swamped. But nothing was in it yet, so there's no replant. There's just nothing planted there yet. So yeah, unfortunately, we also had a test plot in this bean field, and it's got water damage in it as well. But yeah, our farm, this farm here, it actually drains a lot of the ground north of it. So we got a lot of people's water there, unfortunately. It all drains into this stream and then drains into the river. Here's just an overview of all those farms that we have that have water on them. So back to the car we go, and we have one more river bottom farm to check out. You can see the water flowing through this crossing here. This crossing is usually shallow to dry, and we usually just drive across it. No chance of that today. And here we can see some corn that is not in flood damage or any threat of flood damage. It's thriving. We've had good warm weather, and it's got plenty of rain in the last few days. This is actually very gravelly ground. All of it is. So we're able to handle a lot of moisture. It's just I really was not banking on the river getting out. We got around 3 inches of rain, but north of us they had 6 to 7 inches of rain. As you can see, here's the neighbor's ground. Some of that had nice tall corn in it, and it's completely underwater. I don't know what'll happen with it. It's definitely not like the greatest situation in the world. That's a fact. But like I was saying, the up north in Columbus, we were pretty much straight south of Columbus, Ohio. They got quite a bit more rain than we did, and something that people don't think of, when you have that much asphalt and concrete, that water leaves in a hurry and it goes right into the river, and this is what happens. It floods us south of the major cities. So we're just kind of, Like we shouldn't have, the water should not have gotten out from what we had. Our local streams, none of them are very high at the moment. So that is a lot of this water is from up north, unfortunately. This field was also planted with the Fendt that night. There's a 100-acre cornfield here. I mean, yeah, not all of it's going to have to be replanted. I'd say of the 100 acres, probably 30 to 40 will have to be replanted. But you can see the water has receded some. You can see the line where stalks had piled up, and now they are going out. So that's good. This farm has actually had water up and down a couple times now. This is the first one we have that will flood typically, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Hopefully that water continues to go down here. But like I said, if we get more rain, this one will rise first. But yeah, you can also see the driftwood that washes in when this happens. We will have to go through these fields and pick some stuff up. Probably burn some stalks, I would imagine. There's definitely going to be some stockpiles. This farm was vertical tilled, so it will be interesting to see if the stockpiles are substantially more on the ground that was vertical tilled versus the ground that was straight no-till. I mean, I suspect there's definitely going to be more stockpiles on this farm than the other two that we had just looked at that were no-tilled into. I mean, you can just see the massive amount of stalks. There's a tree. Yeah, yeah. Fun, fun, fun. But if you look right here, you can definitely tell the water has went down a little bit. And we found some geese. That's never a good sign when you have geese feeding in your field. That's not what you want, especially when they're swimming and diving. If it was waterfowl season, we'd be having a heyday. Now, last time I seen this sand pile, you'll see that in a coming video. But we're going to land now. This is I got to get that Instagram first. But this is the last river bottom field or farm. This one is not a river farm. This is one of our wettest farms, though. I just kind of wanted to show you a comparison. This farm lays wet periodically. It's very clay-type soils. This is the only farm we have that has no corn on it yet. This is the last farm we have to plant corn on. This is all the corn ground we have left. And I'm just showing you this to show that the main reason, like, there's water here. I mean, this ground's definitely wet, and it's definitely not going to be plantable in the next day or two. That's for sure. But if there was crops in this farm, they would probably, for the most part, survive. The main thing we are fighting is floodwater from north of us, and there's some more geese, just because why not? And, yeah, good stuff there. Just walking along, eating stuff. Yeah, never can find them during waterfowl season, though. Good stuff, but. As you can see, though, most of the crops that were on this farm, if it was planted, they would survive. What we are fighting is runoff. Lots of runoff from north of us. There's not a whole lot we can do about that, unfortunately. But yeah, you can see this farm. It does have some tile through it, so most of this will drain fast. I mean, the lane's pretty wet. I mean, there's water piled up alongside the lanes, but as you'll be able to see in this aerial shot coming up, you can see the tile lines pretty good here. Well, right there we go. So yeah, that should drain fairly efficiently. Hopefully we can get that planted before June would be nice. I was really hoping we would have this planted before this last batch of rain, but we just didn't quite make it. Now, we do have some pretty exciting videos coming up in the next couple of days, so make sure you come back, check those out. Does anyone remember what happened here back in Harvest? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to thumbs up the video if you haven't, guys. And if you're not, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It'd mean a lot to us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.